The Twitter wasn't coming on. See if we can get everybody on there now.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Few minutes. There we are. Okay, now let's start this again. It's a little bit late, you guys, about 7 minutes in. This is the BFTAA and More Show with your host, Louis George Walker. Glad that we could join you today. Yes, it's been a little bit running around getting started, but we are started on here. Some days when you get into a rush, you forget certain buttons and things that get left out, but we're working with it and we're trying to bring it all to you right now live. This is the Black Family Technology Awareness Association's partnership with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center that came together to form Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom Radio. We call it KUAW. So since we're starting a little bit late, we want to get right into it. We do always try to encourage our young people to get involved in STEM. We have some technology news and information that we're going to want to get with you today. Should be a great show. So we're glad that you're tuning in. We're going to go right now into what's happening this week at NASA. So hang in there. Here we go, and we'll let you know what's happening at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Oh, great.
To give spacecraft propulsion a boost. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. Teams at our Kennedy Space Center moved the Orion spacecraft for our uncrewed Artemis 1 mission to the Spaceport's Launch Abort System facility to add parts of the Launch Abort System onto the spacecraft. This critical system is designed to safely jettison the crew away from the Space Launch System, or SLS, rocket in an emergency during launch. On July 14th, we conducted an RS-25 engine hot fire test at our Stennis Space Center, the fifth test in a 7-part series. 4 RS-25s will help power the Space Launch System rocket on future moon missions, including Artemis 1, targeted for later this year. Learn more about the current RS-25 engine test series at nasa.gov/SLS. NASA has teamed with the Department of Energy to advance space nuclear technologies, selecting reactor design concept proposals from 3 companies for a nuclear thermal propulsion system. Nuclear propulsion is more efficient than chemical rockets and can potentially enable faster and more robust crew and cargo missions to Mars and science missions to the outer solar system. Astronaut and former U.S. Marine Colonel Doug Hurley retired from NASA after 21 years of service. His career highlights include 93 days in space and flights aboard the final Space Shuttle mission in July 2011, and most recently as commander on the first crewed flight of the SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft. That mission marked a new era of human spaceflight, enabling crewed launches from America on commercial spacecraft to the International Space Station. On July 13th, the last S-3B Viking aircraft flying today anywhere in the world left our Glenn Research Center. The aircraft has been a research workhorse for over 16 years, flying a variety of missions, including flights to help define communication standards that could enable future unmanned aircraft systems to safely operate in the U.S. airspace. The S-3B Viking will spend its retirement on exhibit at the San Diego Air and Space Museum. When our Lucy spacecraft launches on its first-of-its-kind mission to visit the Trojan asteroids, which share an orbit with Jupiter, it will carry a time capsule in the form of a plaque with messages of advice, wisdom, joy, and inspiration for those who might encounter the spacecraft in the distant future. The messages were solicited from thoughtful leaders and inspirational figures, including members of the Beatles, whose song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds indirectly inspired the mission's name.
I little noisy, but I'm so excited. Lucy is going back in the sky with diamonds. If you meet anyone, tell Lucy, give the peace and love from me.
After Lucy finishes visiting a record number of asteroids for a single mission in 2033, it will continue on a stable orbit, traveling between Earth and the Trojan asteroids for hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of years. Learn more at nasa.gov/Lucy. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/KUAW.
All right. Yes, that's what's going on at NASA this week. We're glad that you're able to check it out and be involved in that. As I was saying, we're doing a few things in the studio today, and we're trying to get our ends together. And they're coming together quite fine, but I wanted to give you some information. We've got some stories we're going to get in today about technology. We've been talking about technology and getting kids involved in STEM, and we definitely want to do that. But sometimes we have to watch technology also. Technology can be used either well or not so well. So I've got a few stories I want to go over with you about the use of technology that may be a warning or something that we should look at as we go into things. So we're going to talk a little bit about facial recognition. We're also going to talk about the broadband internet and being able to get it into our communities, some of the things, the work that is being done now to try and make more broadband available to lower income households. That's one thing we want to do. We also are going to talk a little bit about Kansas City's favorite food is barbecue. So just a little bit on that and stuff, but there's a barbecue speaker that's coming in to the public library, so we'll go over that for a second. So we've got a lot to go over. As I said, this is the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and our goal is to close or eliminate the digital divide that exists between the African-American family and technology. We want to have more households to have broadband internet access with computers that can work and tablets or equipment that's good enough that they can really get some work done. Doing your stuff just from your cell phone is not, even a tablet has its limitations. We really need laptops. I know desktops are kind of getting passe. You don't see them as much. They're not as portable. But we do need to have sometimes some computer power. But with tablets and with a lot of things that are working off of the web now that you can do online, that is a good option. And, you know, if push comes to shove and you got to use the phone beats nothing at all. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and some of the initiatives that are being started to help get more broadband in the neighborhood. But before, we got one more bit from NASA that we want to do, and this is a podcast that they call From Space to Ground. So let me see if I can bring that up for you now.
Houston Station on Space to Ground.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Sandra Jones. This week, a new space plant growth experiment was kicked off, water bears were brought out of hibernation, and we're getting closer to the upcoming launch of the largest module to the space station yet. On Monday, NASA astronaut Shane Kimbrough began work on the Plant Habitat 4 experiment, which involves growing peppers in space for the first time ever. Peppers are more difficult to cultivate than many previous space crops because they take longer to germinate, grow, and develop fruit. This investigation is part of ongoing efforts to establish ways to grow food crops on long-duration space missions. Plant Habitat 4 could help advance the technology on Earth for growing plants in controlled indoor environments and use significantly less water. And on Tuesday, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Aki Hoshide began scientific work on water bears. The Cell Science 4 experiment involves tardigrades, also known as water bears, due to their appearance under a microscope and common habitat in water. Tardigrades are tiny creatures that tolerate extreme environments. Cell Science 4 characterizes the molecular biology of short-term and multi-generational survival of water bears, identifying the genes involved in adaptation and survival in high-stress environments. The results could advance understanding of the stress factors affecting humans in space and support the development of effective countermeasures. The International Space Station is about to get a little bigger thanks to a new Russian module launching soon. The Russian multi-purpose logistic module named Nauka is currently scheduled to launch on Wednesday, July 21st on a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. MLM will dock to the nadir port of the Russian segment of the station and will be the largest module ever launched to the space station. Both operations will be shown live on NASA TV, so be sure to tune in. Also launching with MLM is the European robotic arm, which will serve as the main manipulator on the Russian side of the space station. The arm has the ability to perform many tasks automatically or semi-automatically, can be directed both inside and outside the station, and can be controlled in real time or pre-programmed. The arm can help install, deploy, and replace elements in space, saving the crew time and effort on station maintenance. And that's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks for watching. Do you have a question for us? #AskNASA. We'll see you next week.
All right. That was Space to Ground NASA. We're glad that they were able to give us that information. I got to see if I can get them off of the screen now. Let's see. There we go. And we get back up here. All right. We're coming back. Yes. So there's a lot of things going on with the space station, the space launches. As you know, that we're sending private citizens are going up into space now. Not to the space station, but it is the gateway. It is the start. Last week we had the guy from Virgin Atlantic that went, and this week or tomorrow, Jeff Bezos is going to be like, he's the guy that started Amazon, but he's going to be going into space for a short trip with 4 other civilians that are basically going on a private trip on a private rocket into space. And I think their time in space is very limited, like 10 or 15 minutes, and then they'll come right back down to Earth. But it is opening the doorway for commercial or for other than the governments to go into space. No other private enterprise has put people in space. It's always been governments, the Japanese, Chinese, Russians, Americans, whoever. But this is now looking that they want to open the door. Let me turn this. They want to open the door for space to be open to the public. Granted, the bidding went for this seat to go up there with them at $28 million. So I don't think I'm going to be getting up into space anytime soon. But that's what it's doing. When they get the prices down where you can maybe go for $2,500, I'd say about taking a trip. So it's going to be space travel right now for the uber rich, because they're definitely going to have to be very rich to be able to afford that for maybe a 15-minute trip or 20-minute trip, not even a orbit around the Earth. That's pretty expensive. But if we see that it's possible, then that is opening doors, and that is a good thing. That is what technology is about. That's why we like to stress getting our young people, those that have the aptitude that want to be, into STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And that's something that we don't know until we expose our children to it. So we need to be exposing our young people to a lot of different STEM fields, as many as possible. So in science, it could be biology, it could be dealing with chemicals or earth science or oceanography. It doesn't have to be just computers and stuff, but STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, we work right now with robotics. We want to expand and do even more. But with our robotics program, we teach mechanical engineering, coding, a little bit of electrical engineering, and project management. All is worked into building a robot and competing in competitions. So that's our STEM pathway that we've been working with. We work with a couple of products, the Vex robotics product and the Lego product. So we have kids from 9 years old to 18 in our program. We have professional engineers, and then we have non-professional concerned or citizens that like to work with technology and do some hands-on that help us out with that. So we're right now looking for a person or persons, really. We need to have about 2 or 3 coaches and mentors for our Lego program to work with young people. So if you know someone, or if you are someone that would like to work with a Lego robotics team, or if you know somebody, get in touch with them. Tell them that the BFTAA, Black Family Technology Awareness Association, is looking for a few good people to work with our Lego robotics program. They work with kids from 9 to 12 years old. We worked with them on Saturdays from 12 till 2 or 2:30. So about 2.5 hours, if we could get that from you for some period of time, well, till December. I think they're usually through by January. So from September through January would be good. And this is just on Saturdays, and you know, it's a lot of fun. So we'd like to get more volunteers, and we need more volunteers. If you'd like to volunteer, contact us. You can contact me at 816-805-0406, or you can email the Black Family Technology Awareness Association at bftaa@sbcglobal.net. You can also contact us on Facebook on KUAW Radio. Just send us a message, inbox us on KUAW or on the Black Family Technology Awareness Facebook page, and say you'd like to help out with our robotics program, or you'd like to have some more information. If you'd like to have a conversation where we can talk about helping us with our robotics program, because if you had never done it, you may wonder, well, really, can I handle it and stuff? So let's talk about it if you're interested, or if you know someone that's interested in it. There's also some training that will be given absolutely free. There's no cost to you, from the Kansas City STEM Alliance on the Lego robotics competition and Lego robotics classes. They have a few Saturday classes that you can go to, and we will definitely allow you to go. Any cost will be handled by the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, but you can learn more about this program. So if you'd like to get involved in this, we need to get in touch with you as soon as possible, because we'd like to get this program started at the beginning of the school year, if possible, definitely by September. So if you're interested in working with us, if you think you may be interested, please contact the Black Family Technology Awareness Association as soon as possible. Call me at 816-805-0406. Also, you can email us, as I said, at bftaa@sbcglobal.net, or on Facebook or YouTube, Twitter, whatever. Put in Black Family Technology Awareness Association and contact us that way, or through KUAW Radio. You can leave a message, you can inbox us. We need to have some people to work with our young people, 9 to 12 years old, on our Lego robotics program. So let us know. We're asking for your help and assistance if you're possibly available. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, I got another thing as we talk about that technology. And one of the things is broadband, bringing broadband in to the inner city. That's one of the goals that we've been wanting to do at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. That's one reason we got started, was to get broadband internet in every household in the urban core, and to help families use that broadband access to better their lives, their education, their children's lives, and to close the digital divide, get a standard of, improve your standard of living. Trying to get this up above me shrunk down a little bit and not getting that writing down. Oh, well, it looks kind of big, but anyway, you can give us a call on those numbers right there that are going overhead. See, we're always running into some things we have to work around or work on while we're trying to do what we do, but we're glad that you're here. So in trying to get the internet and into households, one thing that has happened in this pandemic is that there was the emergency broadband initiative that was started. And that was for people with incomes that were up to 135% of the poverty rate. They could get $50 a month for internet. That's a program that's still going on now. It was in the pandemic relief budget, and they were going to give out that money until it's gone. So if you know someone that is still in that range, you need to go to HTTPS on the web, and it's getemergencybroadband.org. If you can go there, you can find out how to get emergency broadband. If your family, if you know someone who's just making up to 135% of the poverty level, so that's 35% more than what the poverty level is, you can get this $50 to use. Also, there is a initiative being started. One of them is called the Black Churches for Broadband. And they say, we invite you to join us in this effort to get more members of our community online. The COVID-19 pandemic has reminded us of the critical importance to have everyone connected to high-speed broadband. So that's something that we need. And right now, when this pandemic started now, it says only 71% of Black households across the country are connected to broadband at home. Only 71%. That means there's 30% of the homes that don't have broadband connection. Some of them may be that they don't want to have it, but some it may be because of the cost, because of everybody doesn't have cable at home. I know a lot of us do, and we take it for granted that everybody does, but there's a lot of people that don't, and they don't have internet access. And that's what we want to get. And so the good news is Congress has created that new benefit program to help families in need pay for broadband, their emergency broadband benefit. It gives you up to $50 a month to go on the broadband, on your broadband bill. Also, if you lost your job during the pandemic, if you're still unemployed from the pandemic, you can qualify for this. So whatever you were making, it won't count against you. So if you lost your job due to the pandemic, if you're within 135% of the poverty rate, you can get $50 a month to help you with your broadband bill. So there are a lot of churches that are getting together to work with this, and they have a site that you can go to. It says if you go to blackchurchesforbroadband.org, you can learn more, and if you're eligible, you can apply to get this funds that are being made available. So if you've got children at home and you do need good internet access, then you can get $50 a month towards that. And there are some companies, broadband companies, that are working with that to help that. So they're wanting to make this, on top of that, there's a effort to make this permanent, that low-income people would be able to get this $50 a month, just like the Lifeline service that they have for telephone service. A lot of people have cell phones or telephones now because it's considered essential to be able to connect and to communicate. Whether the thought is now that with education being online, with a lot of learning that goes on there, the internet is becoming a critical and essential part of life. In rural areas, in urban poor areas, in a lot of areas, there's not broadband, and we need to have that. So there's been a bill, not a bill, but there's an effort to write your congressman to help get more internet. It says the late Congressman John Lewis once said that access to the internet is the civil rights issue of the 21st century. So we need to see about working on that. You can find out more about that effort to get into broadband, to get broadband into your house by going to the government. It's https://getemergencybroadband.org. You can also go to Black Churches for Broadband, and that Black Churches, and then it's the number 4, blackchurchesforbroadband.org. And that will help you find out and get a little bit more information on that. We need to make sure that our families, our households are connected to the internet. You may be eligible to get these funds. and you may be able to help others get connected to those funds. So please check that out. Some of you probably are already on it or may have already heard about it, but if you haven't, it is still available. It is still open that you can get online. We need to be online with the most speed that we can get, at least probably 25 megs or 45 megs of download and upload speed to make it work. If you got a household with more than one or two digital devices, a lot of times you got one or two children, 3 children. If they bring computers home from school and everybody tries to get online, you've got to have some speed to be able to handle a lot of that. And the original internet, a lot of internet at 6 megs or 7 megs just isn't big enough for what is being done on the internet nowadays. There's a lot of video, there's a lot of interactivity that's going on that you do need a little bit more. So that's what I wanted to tell you about that. Thank you. Now we also want to talk about a speaker that's coming to Kansas City. There's a program that you'll be able to check out online, Kansas City Public Libraries, on Sunday, July the 25th, called Black Smoke, the African Americans and the United States of Barbecue. Adrian Miller will be giving that talk. You can watch it on YouTube. There's another reason to have internet access in your house. It says the U.S. barbecue capitals of Memphis, Texas, the Carolinas, and of course Kansas City bring unique techniques, flavors, and traditions to slow smoking meats. Oh man, I tell you, we like that. Each claims to produce the best Q in the country, and hundreds of teams have compete regionally and nationally for preeminence. But often overlooked in this barbecue mania that goes on in our now widely embraced barbecue culture and history is the prominent role of African Americans. So you want to check that out. In a discussion of his new book, Black Smoke, African Americans and the United States of Barbecue, James Beard award-winning food writer Adrian Miller chronicles how black pitmasters and restaurateurs, including some Kansas City legends, influenced this quintessential American cuisine, making them central to our nation's barbecue narrative. It's a smoke-filled story of black perseverance, culinary innovation, and entrepreneurship. So you want to check this out. It's going to be at 3 o'clock Sunday, July the 25th, Kansas City Public Library. If you go on YouTube and go to KC Library, you'll be able to see this. Miller's first book was Soul Food, the surprising story of American cuisine, one plate at a time. And that's where he won his first James Beard Foundation Award for scholarship and reference. He's from Denver, Colorado. He holds a law degree from Georgetown University and is a certified barbecue judge. So that's a guy that's going to be talking. Adrian Miller, Sunday, 3 o'clock, July the 25th. Check it out. It's called Black Smoke, African Americans and the United States of Barbecue. All right. Now, I started late, so I'm still trying to catch up with a lot of things. I had pulled up some information that I found that was interesting. Let's see if I can get that. Okay, there it is. Also want to let you know that you can get tech tips. If you want to learn about technology free and it's available to everybody, go to the Kansas City Public Library. They have a lot of things. And on July 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30, they'll give you answer questions and give you tech tips about whatever it is you have. They also, on the Kansas City Public Library's website, have information on how to join a Zoom link, how to set that up, how to do it if you haven't done Zoom. But if you want to find out more about technology, get somebody, your grandkids, anybody to show you how to get on Zoom. And then you can go to the library. It's interactive. You can talk with the people and you can learn for free about computers and any questions that you might have. So that would be a good thing to look into. Okay, now, what is the next thing I want to do? Oh, yes, the next bit of information, this is one of the main things I want to finish up on, is about the use of facial recognition. Facial recognition programs are being used by police departments, and some private companies are using facial recognition And there is, as it says, a new federal study confirms the widely adopted tech is fundamentally biased. So it's time to ban it. So they're looking to ban using facial recognition, especially for law enforcement. There was a bill to try and have it for public housing, for a lot of things. But there were a couple incidents that happened. There was a young lady, and I'll pull her up. I had pulled it up on the web, as you could understand. Yeah, it says black teen, and you can find a lot of this information on our Facebook page. Go to KUAW-radio, and I'm giving you information right from the KUAW radio Facebook page. And it says black teen was wrongly identified, then kicked out of a skating rink thanks to facial recognition. This happened up in Detroit. So, you know, this is just a skating rink that's using facial recognition. I don't know how good it is or whatever it says, but the technology doesn't always work in our favor. After facial recognition software wrongly identified a black teen at a local skating rink in Michigan, where her parents had dropped her off, you know, her parents want some answers now. To me, it's basically racial profiling. This was in Afrotech, too. If you get a chance, you might subscribe to that. This is in Afrotech. Gives you different information about things that go on in the black technology sphere. It was written by Shanique Yates, and it was in Afrotech. But it says, the facial recognition says, to me, it was racial profiling, said the teen's mother, Julia Robinson. You're just saying every young black, brown girl with glasses fits the profile, and that's not right. According to Fox 2 News Detroit, Riverside Arena skating rinks, facial recognition. So this is a skating rink, okay? Just go to a skating rink. They have facial recognition software. It misidentified Lamaya Robinson, which ultimately led to her being kicked out and denied access into the venue. I was like, that is not me. Who is that? Said Lamaya. I was confused because I've never been there. So her first time going to the skating rink, and they're saying that she was somebody that was there before. When her parents dropped her off at the rink on Saturday, they expected her to spend the day having fun and hanging out with friends, but she didn't even make it into the venue. She was denied entry after her face was scanned, and the rink accused her of being involved in a brawl at the venue back in March. So they're scanning everybody's face that goes in. You know, what do they do with that? Who are they? This is a skating rink. They're making records, they're scanning faces and stuff, and they've got them. Who keeps that? You know, who has all of that information? Those are things that we have to look at. Says, you all put my daughter out of the establishment by herself, not knowing what could have happened, said Lamaya's father, Derek Robinson. It just happened to be in the, be a blessing that she was calling in frustration to talk to her cousin, but at the same time, he pretty much said, I'm not that far. Let me go see what's wrong with her. So, you know, here you drop your child off to go in the skating rink. You see them go in the door and you pull off and they get put back out. You know, they're outside. So it's a lot of steps in here that could be traumatizing not only to the child, but really a bad experience for the parents also. So that's one thing that they're looking at in getting rid of that facial recognition, or at least holding it up till it's better. One thing they found in studies is that facial recognition software fails more times or has more errors with black people and with Asians. And also that African-American females, it fails even more than African-American males or the Asians. So misidentification is something that can happen. They've got a campaign going on now. Data for Black Lives is just one of 35 organizations that have signed a petition to urge retailers to stop the use of facial recognition on both customers and workers. Organizers of the campaign have identified Lowe's and Macy's among the retailers who currently use the technology. Facial recognition does not accurately recognize darker skin tones, said the head of Data for Black Lives, Twana Petty. So I don't want to go to Walmart and be tackled by an officer or security guard because they misidentified me for something I didn't do. So those are some things that happened. And also the Robinsons are considering legal action against the Livonia skating rink, but are thankful that the incident did not lead to unnecessary interaction with police. Because, yeah, the police could get called. This is one way it could get all out of hand. And here the young lady hasn't done anything, wasn't even the person that they thought she was. You know, so that's the thing about using some of these new technologies. And I'm for technology. It can be a great tool, but it has to be used right, you know, because it can cause as many problems. Now, another problem that was even worse than that and didn't lead to, but was actually brought up at a congressional hearing to show you how facial recognition can go. A man wrongfully arrested by facial recognition tells Congress his story. This is also on our Facebook page. Go to Facebook, KUAW-radio. KUAW-radio. Don't forget to put the dash in there. And you can see these stories. This comes from Vice.com about a man that was wrongly arrested by facial recognition. This was July the 13th. Michigan resident Robert Williams testified about being wrongly arrested by Detroit police in an effort to urge Congress to pass legislation against the use of facial recognition technology. Williams' testimony was part of a hearing held by the House of Representatives Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security, which dealt with how law enforcement uses the highly controversial surveillance technology. Congress recently introduced a facial recognition and biometric technology moratorium, which would indefinitely ban its use by law enforcement. Now, that's been introduced. It hasn't passed. So they're trying to get this passed so that they can do a moratorium until they study it. And that's just for law enforcement. It wouldn't stop private companies from using it. Williams was wrongfully arrested in 2020 for federal larceny after he was misidentified by the Detroit Police Department's facial recognition software, after they used a grainy image from a surveillance footage. He was then picked from a photo lineup by the security guard who wasn't actually present for the incident. Okay, according to his testimony, Williams was detained for 30 hours and was not given any food or water. I don't even live in Detroit, and Detroit police came to my house in Farmington Hills and basically carted me off, he said in his testimony. I don't think it's fair that my picture was used in some type of lineup, and I've never been in trouble. So that's the thing to look at, is that they've looked at this, as Motherboard previously reported that the Detroit police's facial recognition system also led to the false arrest of another man, Michael Oliver. Oliver is now suing the city along with the ACLU. So these are things that, you know, it's maybe a good technology, but maybe we're bringing it out too soon. We haven't really looked at it thoroughly enough, because these are incidents that could lead to somebody losing their lives. You already know that black men with interaction with police can kind of turn out really bad, even if they haven't done anything before. And now, you know, the police say, well, this is the person that did it, we're going to go get him. And yeah, a person that hasn't done anything, they're going to be wondering, that they may resist a little bit, like, what are you grabbing me for? What did I do? Just come on, go with us. You know, so those are things that can lead to a bad situation happening. And for the police to just jump the gun and go, you know, grab somebody because a computer or facial recognition said, this is the person, you know, and then we're going to go get them. And it could just really get bad. So Congress, and we need to urge and talk to our congressmen and to our local police officials to see if they're using facial recognition, and what are they using it for? How are they using it? What are the checks and balances being used on there, that there's not any unnecessary arrests being made? You know, because that can also lead to your taxes going up, because somebody getting arrested wrong and stuff could sue the city. No telling where it could lead. There's millions of dollars that cities pay out in settling lawsuits from police departments overzealousness anyway. this could add to that, and let alone it could end up with the loss of a life. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this facial recognition and how it's being used in some of the things that we do. It says using nearly 200 facial recognition algorithms developed by 99 corporations in 18 million images from federal databases, the algorithms accuracy was found to vary widely among different racial, ethnic, gender, and age groups. Native Americans, blacks, and Asians had some of the highest false matches for mugshots. Blacks and Asians were misidentified at rates ranging from 10 to 100 times more than Caucasian. Women in general had a high false match rate than men, with Native American women misidentified as high as 68 times more than white men. This study makes it clear that the government needs to stop using facial recognition surveillance right now. This technology has serious flaws that pose an immediate threat to civil liberties, public safety, and basic human rights, said the Fight for the Future, a privacy rights group. Even if the algorithms improve in the future, biometric surveillance like face recognition is dangerous and invasive. Lawmakers everywhere should take action to ban the use of this nuclear-grade surveillance. Yeah, so there's a lot. This one group called Motherboard is definitely coming out against it. It's something that we need to keep an eye on. It's going to be in the news. We have things that happen, so we want to check it out because that's something that's out there that could cause an unnecessary loss of life. You know, because if you get identified as some armed and dangerous criminal and stuff, when the police come up, any movement you make, they might say, well, he's armed and dangerous. We got it on here from the facial recognition thing in our database, and they come with guns drawn. You know, and any move may cause a disaster, a horrible mistake to happen. So I think that using facial recognition may be something that's way in the back, you know, that's not considered nowhere near 100%, and that you would have to still call or do some other work before you would run and arrest somebody like they did this guy who was innocent. I guess a couple of people that have been innocent, for this young lady to get put out of the skating rink. You know, businesses and stuff are using that. You may walk in the store going just to shop and say the facial recognition pulls you up as somebody, you know, is not supposed to be there. All of a sudden they're hustling you out the store. You're trying to figure out what's going on. The embarrassment of everybody looking at him, well, why are they making him leave out and stuff like that? And you may have done nothing. So those are things that we're going to look at in the future, and we'll keep an eye and follow them. But if you want to see more stories like this, find out about technology, how it's being used. Also, didn't even get into some money matters because there's some of our rappers and other people are making some big money moves in technology and solar power, all of that. You want to find out more information like that, go to our Facebook page, KUAW-radio, and listen to KUAW Radio on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Also, the audio versions of our shows are on TuneIn, on Online Radio Box, on mytuner.com, on the Radio Garden, who did I leave out? And on Online Radio Box. So if you've got a smart speaker, Alexa or something, tell it to play KUAW Radio. Say, play KUAW Radio, and it'll come out. So listen to us, watch us when we're live, and just stay up on what's going on with technology and what's happening in the African-American community. This is your host, Louis George Walker. This is the Black Family Technology Awareness Association show, BFTAA, and more. Glad that you were with us today. I hope you enjoyed. Hope I gave you some information that may be helpful to you in the future. Stay tuned. for the next show coming up, which is B. Michael Long with Shifting Paradigms. He starts at 6 o'clock, so be sure and tune in for that because he gives out some very good information. And be sure and just tune in to all the live shows. Like us and share us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch. Like KUAW Radio. That way, whenever we come on live, you won't miss anything. We have some great shows, some great things going on, so continue to listen to us. Also, remember, anybody that would like to work with us on our Lego robotics program, we need you today. So if you know somebody that would like some more information, if you would like some information, hit us up on Facebook, email us at KUAW.gmail.com, KUAW985@gmail.com, or BFTAA@sbcglobal.net. This is George Walker for the BFTAA and More show saying thank you and have a great evening.